Everyone, this is Failed Hero number 1. I thought we would take a moment today and discuss some recent casting news. More specifically, that Ben Affleck is now Batman. Now, I have no problems with Mr. Affleck or his acting, aside from maybe, what is it called? Jiggly? And maybe, Daredevil. Even though I don't necessarily feel Daredevil was his fault. He did some interesting stuff. It just wasn't a very good movie, especially with Colin Farrell stealing every scene. But I digress. We have something very interesting going on in the internet with Warner Brothers feeling that Ben Affleck is a great choice. They've been going after him for a long time, even though people may not realize it. And the kind of general audience and fans not really happy with the casting choice. Now, I think the same thing can be said about Rocket Raccoon for Guardians of the Galaxy, and Bradley Cooper being considered for that. There's a lot of weird casting going on. I'm okay with Vin Diesel possibly being Groot, but that's just me. Vin Diesel has a history of being a great, voice actor and everything else. But with Ben Affleck, we have a very interesting situation. First of all, he's a great director, phenomenal director. I actually find him to be a better director than he is an actor. And that brings up an interesting point that to be Batman, you have to be two people, essentially. You have to be, his kind of real identity, which is Batman, and his outward appearance, which is Bruce Wayne. I feel that Ben Affleck can easily be Bruce Wayne. He's pretty close to Bruce Wayne anyway. He's well respected. He had his Playboy days. He's done some stuff. People know who he is and everything. He has it going on for him right now. Now, Batman is where things get a little mixed up. Honestly, I wanted Jim Caviezel to be Batman. I feel that Person of Interest shows us what he can do. He's essentially Batman in that film, but he uses guns. And since they were going for an older actor, I thought he was a shoo-in. At least I thought he would be considered. It seems like he wasn't. But we have Ben Affleck now. And this isn't really a surprise. Back before The Dark Knight Rises even came out, they had announced that before 2017 we would have a reboot of Batman, and they were rebooting the Nolan universe because the Nolan universe that they created for the films wasn't necessarily made in mind for superpowered beings. The idea that Christopher Nolan had for Batman was that if there were actually superpowered people going around saving the day, why would we need Batman? Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I can see where he was getting that from. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on. People are excited about the idea of Ben Affleck directing a Batman film in around 2017, and I agree with that. I think that would be very good. Now, in about 10 years, this will probably be rebooted again, and we'll be discussing in 10 years who is this upstart or this older gentleman that they've decided to cast for the role, but right now we have Ben Affleck. And there's an interesting dynamic with Ben Affleck and Batman, because earlier in the year, he was offered not only the chance to direct Justice League, which he turned down, but also the chance to be Batman in Justice League. Now, this has to make us question why early in the year he decided to turn it down, and now, let's say 6 months, 7 months later, he has decided to take on the cowl. That's kind of weird, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I find that kind of odd. Now, my main concern about him being Batman is the fact I don't think he can do the action that we want. Sure, we can have a stand-in be Batman, but we really want to see the actor in the mask. You know what I mean? We want to see him fighting, not some stunt double or someone else. It's somewhat like they're doing with Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield is wearing the suit all the time. They're not really using a stand-in for Spider-Man. He's just going for it, and that's what we really want for Batman. Now, Christian Bale did that, and Bale doesn't want to be Batman anymore. I can understand that. He's been Batman for a while. It's helped make his career, or revitalize his career. American Psycho is a great film, which I think was the first time I saw him. And the fact that he was auditioning for Robin before, and now he was Batman. It's a great story, but that doesn't leave us which much to go on when they offer him what was probably millions of dollars. Not Hugh Jackman range, who was offered $100 million to star as Wolverine in like 6 more films. But it was probably a goodly amount because Christian Bale, for the current generation of moviegoers, is Batman. And they're going out of their way to just recast him, not even, 2 years after the last film. So, I can get why people are upset. We were talking about a lot of things. They wanted to go for an older actor as Batman. I feel that Ben Affleck, though I believe he's in his 40s, doesn't really seem that old. He seems to be in his 30s. He's supposed to be the grizzled veteran vigilante who is teaching Clark a lot about what it means to be a hero, I'm assuming. And there's probably going to be a lot of distrust between the two because you have this upstart with a lot of powers, and then you have Batman who his power is money and his intellect, essentially. And having money as your superpower is not necessarily a bad thing. But I think a lot of people are wondering, can this one person be Batman? And I'm on the fence. I'm willing to give him a chance. Right now I'm very unhappy with the casting because I had other people in mind. Much like when Star-Lord was cast. I can't even remember what the guy's name is. The guy from Park and Rec was cast as Star-Lord. And I'm a huge, Guardians of the Galaxy fan. I'm a huge Nova fan. I thought it was a little weird that they wanted to go in that particular direction for Star-Lord. I was pretty good with Joel Edgerton as Star-Lord. I thought he was a great fit. But from what I've seen, Guardians of the Galaxy looks awesome, and I was just on the fence about it. So, can I really just judge the world's finest film, or Batman vs. Superman, whatever they call it? Can I judge it based on the fact that Ben Affleck alone has been cast in this role? I could probably judge it based on the fact that Zack Snyder is directing. But I like him as a director, for the most part. I thought Man of Steel was okay. I thought the action was great. It showed us what a superhero film could be, and on the scale, but I agree with some people that it wasn't really Superman. Superman would have left, Metropolis. He would have gone to fight Zod somewhere else. Let's not even debate whether or not Zod would have followed him somewhere else because he was just out to hurt Cal. He didn't want to really, kill them. They were the last of their kind. But let's keep it back on Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is a good actor for the most part if he's directed well. I don't know if Snyder can direct him well. That's going to be an interesting thing to see. Based on The Town, we know he can do the tough guy voice with the heart of gold. I don't know if he can be Batman though, and that's the main problem. I'm okay with him being Bruce Wayne. Scott Adkins maybe shot himself in the foot by saying he screen tested for the role, but he would have been good physically as Batman. He has kind of the poise and the presence of Batman, the ability to kick ass as Batman, and that's very important. But Ben Affleck, I don't think we should judge things too soon. We should wait. Maybe we see what they do with the costume. Maybe they'll release. I'm surprised. I've seen a lot of people tweeting about it, but I haven't seen any reaction from Ben Affleck about the tweets. I would like to hear his take on it. Maybe he'd do a Google Hangout or a Reddit, ask me anything about it. I think that would do a lot to kind of dissolve the tension and animosity fans are feeling about his casting. We'll see if that happens. Aside from that, don't judge us too harshly before we even get things rolling. If the story sounds terrible, they have Ben Affleck, there's nothing saving it. Henry Cavill, who looks like Tom Welling, he looks like a pale version of Tom Welling. Like their smile, everything is really eerily similar. Welling is just a little broader in the shoulders than Cavill. They could be twins though, essentially. Maybe they grew up in different climates. But we just have to hope that it goes well. I'm totally unsure right now. I'm just on the fence. I don't know. Let me know how you guys feel. I think it could go very well as long as they don't do the cruise ship story, which is when they first found out about each other's identities, Clark and Bruce. But I don't know, it's Warner Brothers. They screwed up Green Lantern pretty badly after having a solid script. They changed it a lot. Now they could just ruin World's Finest, and we can't be certain of anything at this point. So thank you for listening. I hope you all are having a good weekend. It is Friday. Go check out Your Next or something else, and maybe I'll talk about another movie next week or something. I love movies. It's all I watch. It's all I do. I just watch movies, and it's terrible, and I have no social life, but I certainly talk to people about film all the time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.